Sir, so what, can you help us a bit in what does that all lead you to, at least hypothetically, conclude?
Well, I think my biggest concern would be that we've been hearing from election officials and others that...
Could you get just a little closer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've been hearing from election officials and others about the sanctity and the security of this system. We've been hearing things about networks and data coming and going. And one of the most, I guess, basic premises of any kind of security would be physical security. And by having that disk drive copied and then shuffled off the premises, presumably, by this gentleman's statement, without a chain of custody, that's no different than ballots in a box, read or unread, coming and going without any supervision.
So this Dominion employee took these with him, could have taken them anywhere, and could have done anything with them that he wanted.
There's the potential for that, or have given it to another individual to courier it to whatever facility they were allegedly storing it at. So he was vague on those details. Perhaps he didn't know, but his job was to make that copy.
So why is there a chain of custody?
I would imagine there's a chain of custody so that we can prove that the data has not changed and it arrived at its intended destination unhandled and manhandled or any kind of malicious activity performed on it.
And this was a Dominion employee who did this?
That's correct.
And did any of the county officials try to stop him, try to interfere with him?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, he openly talked about what he had to do when I asked him the question on the backups. So I would presume that he was performing a function that he deemed necessary to make sure that there was some data backup copies made, but I can't attest to why the county or the other employees there or how they would have managed that process, other than the fact that he did indicate that it left the facility.
Did he indicate he was taking them with him, either home or somewhere else, to do something with them? Was there a purpose to it?
I did not hear him make any mention of that. My concern was, where did it go? And he inferred that he thought it might be going to another facility uptown.
He thought it might be?
Yes.
He didn't know where it was going to go?
Well, that's his words. I don't know if he actually knew. I can't read his thoughts, but my point is that his answers seemed a little bit vague and perhaps honest, but nonetheless.
His name was Bruce?
Yes.
You don't know his second name?
I don't.
How old was he?
I would say he was probably in his mid-40s at the oldest, about 200 pounds, 5'8", 5'9".
And when you asked him what he was doing, he said he was bringing them uptown? He
said that the copy of the backup drive was being taken off-site, which is not an uncommon practice to have an on-site and an off-site backup copy. But when I asked him how it was getting there, how it was being transported, if it was being secured, and where it was landing, with some assurity that it got there, he said there was no chain of custody.
But he said nothing else about where he was taking it, what was going to be done with it, or anything like that?
No, again, implying the normal nature of what an administrator would do for backup, he probably was intending for it to be secured safely in the event that it was needed for some sort of restoration process.
How often did this occur? One time?
He told me that he was doing this daily.
So every night he would take out the drive with him?
He would make a copy to the main, what he called the orange drive in the cage in the secured area, and then make a second copy for this off-site copy, which would then allegedly move out of the MTech facility to some unknown destination.
And when you objected to it, what happened?
I guess I really didn't overreact. I was there as an observer, and I guess it wasn't my question. I did feel it was my position to get confrontational about it, and I just quietly made my observations and duly noted them to the proper authorities.
Is there anything else you noted about the facility?
I would say that, I've seen some publications around the county's installation of the facility and the idea that it provides us a level of transparency to the community. It's visible if you have access to the building, the server's visible. My concerns, though, would be that I can't say with, because I just don't know, whether or not, by just looking at that facility and looking at the way the servers were secured, whether or not anyone else had particular access. I mean, there were many workers in that area, including the Dominion administrators. There was, at any given time, 15, maybe even more than 20 people working on adjudication in there, as well as the staff from the county. So
when they were taking the copy, making the copy, did they do any data checks before removing the drives so they could compare it when it came back?
My question to the employee and his answer didn't include any speculation around that.
Did you see that happen?
No, I did not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, any questions? Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, you mentioned earlier that you said that you reported your concerns after this all took place. Who exactly did you report your concerns to?
The Observer program, I was told to go online and make a report. And then later on, when I was reached by the coordinator for that, they asked me if I would make a declaration, which is why I'm here today.
Do you know if this information, as far as the lack of chain of custody, because I understand that from your explanation, this orange hard drive would be like essentially the entire electorate's votes that's
always fun.
kept in there. To your knowledge, was this ever, the report of lack of chain of custody ever given to the Attorney General's Election Integrity Unit?
Not to my knowledge and not through me.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions? Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your time.